all us new faces here. Appreciate all you guys being here and covering the game. Thought it was a hard-fought, tough Big 12 basketball game. Runs by both teams. They made a couple more runs than we did. Obviously kicked our tail on the glass and kind of figured out how to rebound better. Offense is getting better. We got several good looks, I thought. Just didn't go down today. And I thought our defense, again, held us down for a long while. We had a few breakdowns late in the game, which would happen from time to time. But we've got to get back and get better. And I know one thing, Texas, who's next on our schedule, won't feel sorry for us. They're hoping to make us 0-3. So our message to our team is, anybody who feels sorry for themselves, don't show up to practice tomorrow. And I won't bother trying to play you on Tuesday.
Thomas said he mentioned that maybe the foul at the start, maybe just not even jitters, but just kind of trying to get settled in a big rivalry game. What do you think was the reason for the fouling?
That's a hard question for me to answer, to be honest. I have to go back and see if we were out of position. Maybe we were. I mean, I know the officials work really hard and try to do a good job, but they've got to call fouls if we foul. And it was a pretty physical game. There were a lot of fouls both ways, so we obviously didn't do as good a job as we needed to adjusting to the way the game was called. So we repeatedly sent it to the line where they had 17 of their 38 halftime points from there, which, again, our defense was good enough, but can't foul and give teams points. They're good free throw shooting team.
Did you like the looks you were getting? I mean, neither team shot well. Did you like the shots you were getting?
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like in the moment right now, just fresh off the game, that we had some good looks. Gotta go figure out exactly where they came from. Are we getting the right guys, those shots, and why are they missing them? There's a reason. There's something within our control that we have to try to manage over the next 48, 72 hours.
Mike, you said you had a few breakdowns down the stretch defensively. What exactly happened to get Oklahoma's offense going a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they ever really got going offensively. We did have a breakdown in our zone that James hit the three in the corner. We helped inside when we didn't need to, and I know we gave up a layup in transition to, I think, Manic. Those are the two that are fresh in my mind. I have to go back and look at the film. Sorry, Barry, to tell you exactly where they came from, just because I've got about 5,000 plays in my mind right now. Not many of them went our way, though.
Coach, Thomas said that the youth isn't an excuse anymore. What are your thoughts on that? And the second thing is, what's the biggest lesson you want your kids to learn from this game?
I agree. I mean, youth is an excuse. You got to play basketball. And, you put it on, and you're either ready or you're not. And so we just have to play better. It's quite simple. I mean, we competed pretty hard. Our lack of discipline defensively at times was very, very disappointing. We left the ground and fouled guys, and when we're in pretty good defensive position, got them to the free throw line, and the defensive rebounding was really, really, really hurtful for us today.
Mike, what stands out to you about the way they defend? You guys were 6 for 26 from 3. I know you said that you liked some of the looks, but what jumps out at you, particularly about the way they defend the perimeter?
Well, they are a really good defensive team, and I don't mean to take any credit from them. I thought they did a good job. I just thought we tried to really drive and play inside out, and I thought we got a lot of good looks that way. The thing they do is they keep everything in front of them, and even when you get into the paint, they don't just give in. They don't necessarily leave the floor to try to block the shot. They make you score over top of them, and those shots are harder to make than you think.
Mike, could today be sort of a confidence builder for Maurice? Kind of played more than usual and seemed to.
Yeah, and there's still some struggling moments out there. He had a terrible foul in the baseline there in the second half. That, again, he had that lapse and focus on this is really important right now that I stay in a good defensive stance. But he's coming along. I've been pleased with his progress, particularly over the last 2 weeks since we've been back from Christmas break, and I think he'll continue to evolve. Offensively, he's got some things that maybe some of our other freshmen don't have in terms of size and ability to finish in the paint, but he's got to continue to improve defensively for him to continue to have the opportunities to be on the floor.
You mentioned a couple weeks ago how you wanted to take the ball out of Mike Weathers' hand, play him off the ball a little bit. You didn't really have that option tonight with Lindy and Isaac getting into foul trouble. Has he improved on that end in the last couple of weeks?
He has. Again, his turnovers have been down. I'm not sure. Maybe the first game we've had more assists and turnovers this year. I don't remember. I can't think of them all. But you know, as a team, we've been taking care of the basketball better. And most nights, we're a pretty good shooting team. Obviously, that wasn't the case this afternoon. So if we do that and we get good shots, we feel like we have a chance to maybe get close to 75 points, which is where we need to be. I mean, scoring in the 60s is probably not going to be good enough on most nights in this league.
Mike, Cameron played with a lot of intensity tonight, and you guys have a young team. Was part of that just to try and give those guys some confidence that they can play with a team like this on the road?
Not necessarily. I mean, that's who Cam is, and you know, I don't know if you've seen us play. It's how he's effective. He plays really hard. He's a great energy guy. And he knows that at his position behind him, it's a bunch of guys who've never been in this building except for about 30 minutes last night. So he understood what was at stake and all that it meant to play in a game like this. And so he just showed leadership. But that's who he is every day.
You know, why OU is such a different team this season is pretty easy to understand. Trey Young left and a couple of grad transfers came in. But is it sort of stunning to see the same team 2 years in a row play so differently as an opposing coach?
No, I mean, I'll be honest. First of all, Trey was a tremendous asset to this program for a year last year. But I think they played more different last year than any other year. I don't think this year is the difference. I think last year was more the anomaly. Then this is what Coach Kruger's teams look like and have played like since I've watched them, and it's been a long time. So I'm sure he feels much more comfortable with the way they're defending specifically. I think they kind of let that get away from him. Now, they were electric offensively. You had to worry about whether you could score 100 to beat them. But this is a long Kruger team, and got a lot of respect for him and the way he does things.
Even after Isaac would be considered out of foul trouble, he kind of left Michael in. What kind of went into that situation?
He was playing better. And Ice just didn't have it. Didn't have his juice that he needed. And he seemed out of rhythm. He obviously sat for a while. It's really the first time trying to get him back going again after sitting for a long period of time. And all those type of things are learning, processes for him. We'll get back, and I'm sure he'll be in the film room trying to figure out what happened and why it happened and how to be better for the next time.
Lindy picked up some early fouls and you left him in, you grabbed another. Were you confident in him not picking up that last foul?
Yeah, I mean, again, there's very few guys, right, who I feel like have been through enough. And so he's one of those guys. And, I'm going to go back and see whether it was or not. I can't put myself in that position in that moment. And it's part of the reason I didn't start him in the second half, because I knew Coach was a good coach. It was a closely called game. There was a lot of fouls called. So I knew they'd probably go right at him. They had the ball first, so I didn't want to risk him picking up his fourth as early, and where we get him through the rest of the game. So, but not having him on the court was kind of a blow to us, just because he brings some peace in the ball handling aspect, and obviously from an experience standpoint.
When the game got more than a couple possessions out, it was a possession game for the most part. They extend the lead. You guys bring it back. What was it that prevented you guys from getting over the hump, taking the lead?
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I have a hard time thinking of what play came. I know we missed several layups. I know that. And I don't know if it was those possessions or if it was breakdowns on the defensive end. Felt like we ran good stuff coming out of those timeouts. We got a few open looks that, again, normally go down. Cameron Griff 0 for 5 from 3. He's close to a 40% three-point shooter. So maybe if you get one of them, he's 1 for 5 to go down. Curtis Jones is certainly better than 1 for 6 as a shooter. So we just got to continue to work it and find ways to get better looks. But in that moment, it's hard for me to say. I mean, it's just so many possessions, and I don't want to misspeak on what exactly happened.
You were, Mike, you're now minus 19 through 2 games on free throw points. You got 46 fouls in 2 games. Is it being officiated a little different than you anticipated?
I mean, we're probably fouling too much. I mean, officials have a job to do, and our job is to adapt to how they're doing their job. And we're not doing that well enough right now. I very seldom think that the refs have more control over the game than my players and I do. So we've got to make adjustments, and once we do, we'll find better success in terms of finishing possessions defensively, because we're either fouling or giving up an offensive rebound, or we're doing both. We're giving up an offensive rebound, and then we're fouling. So now we got a guy that is in foul trouble. They're going to the free throw line, and it just kind of snowballs on you. But, you know, again, I'll go and study that and figure out why those fouls are happening, where they're coming from, and then also why we're not getting as many free throws as well, and why we're not getting as many offensive rebounds, because there's answers out there. I just gotta find them.